So the new or returning item things just continues to roll on. Today we are at Chipotle. Now I always have to like give y'all a little backstory. I'm so reluctant to eat this in my car because Chipotle has a very distinct Chipotle smell. But when I walked in there, bro, I don't know what it is. Maybe they're giving away free burritos at Chipotle, but the line, at least 20 to 25 people long. Then I checked to see the seating area. Same thing. Everybody's eating. No big deal. So we had to go in the car. So I'm right outside of Chipotle. But the reason that I'm here today is because Chipotle brought back their Carne Asada. They love bringing back different types of protein. So it's under here somewhere. That is the Carne Asada. And I also did get it in tacos. And I got it as plain as possible so I could really test out, the meat. And that's what's on the agenda today. I didn't get any chips and salsa. I ended up getting Cool Ranch Doritos because that's just a better plate to me. I also did get some of their vinaigrette. I didn't get sour cream. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was so loud in there, and I don't think the lady could hear me properly. I asked for adobo ranch and sour cream. They didn't get it, but they didn't charge me for it, so it's all good. But that's what's on the agenda today. Chipotle, you know how you gotta do. You gotta get everything situated with Chipotle. You can't just grab it and eat it. So let's get into this video. So I'm gonna explain this, but I'm also gonna give you I always like to give people updates on like menus and stuff like that. There's been a real big influx of people that have been ordering Chipotle as meal prep, like not just fitness people, but people in general, because they say that it's pretty cost effective. Now, you can do with this information as you want, but I just wanted to inform people that they, on their digital app only, they have basically like a half order of catering. It's called a meal that serves 4 to 6 people, and you get Chipotle, whatever protein that you want, and then all the trimming. So obviously like the lettuce, all the salsas and the cheeses and whatever you want. And it costs $63. I don't know if people think that's a good deal or not. It also comes with 8 tortillas, taco-sized tortillas, by the way, not the big ones. But I just wanted to inform people that is in fact a thing. Just in case you were wondering, or some people may want to take advantage of that. I don't know. So we mix this up. We're going to add our vinaigrette. Now, normally people like to mix this with the sour cream. The only reason that I didn't is because there's sour cream in the burrito bowl, and there's no reason for extra, in my opinion. But got to get this ready. And you've got to get the Doritos are a must. I prefer that to their chips because I think their chips are just hit or miss because sometimes they're just too salty for me. So I've usually opted to just end up trying to get Doritos when I can. Chipotle's near me are always near like a gas station or a Wawa. So there you go. So let's try this one out. Of course it's going to break. Of course it's going to break. They always break. Here we go. I caught Chipotle on a good day. Anytime they do like a beef dish for me, it's very hit or miss. But the steak is very, very tender today. I need to try it in the taco because obviously with all that stuff, I feel like it's masking the taste, but I feel like most people, you're not going to get the beef alone. So what the hell's the point? But for the sake of the video, I really wish I had adobo ranch. They didn't give it to me, but this is as plain as possible. It's a taco with pico and cheese. And there's the carne asada itself. I personally think, while it is really tender, they have some sort of little spice blend on there with a little bit of lime. That gives it a little more pop than their steak, but it's very similar to their steak. I just think I caught it on a good day, so it is tender. Sometimes their steak is chewy as hell. And today, it's not. That's a good thing. There's a big bite with the beef right here. This is probably going to sound like the most nitpicky thing I've ever said about Chipotle. It needs salt. And I never thought I'd say that. What I'm getting in this, it almost tastes like cumin and garlicky, the steak. And there's a little hint of lime. But damn, some fresh coarse sea salt would have really helped. And I'm always complaining that Chipotle is too salty. Maybe they was like, listen, people talking about it too salty. We ain't adding salt to this no more. Them salty ass chips might have helped. The L on my part. It's better with the Doritos because it adds that. I don't know if y'all just caught me just a rice crumb just fell out my mouth and I caught it. Athlete. But that part is lacking. I just personally feel like the carne asada here is lacking a little bit of flavor because of that. But if you just want tender steak, pretty much what you're getting here. And I feel like most people, when they order Chipotle, you're not really deviating from what you get anyway. So it's going to be flavored by whatever pico and salsa and stuff that you get. I completely get that. So, do I think that this is one of their better proteins? I'm going to be honest with you, probably not. I feel like these tacos just need something. So, but I don't think it's going to hurt. I think this should just be what they serve as steak all the time. That's my opinion. Because it's a little more flavorful than a regular steak. But it's pretty much the same damn thing. So if you were looking for some sort of in-depth analysis of this, I apologize for wasting your time. Because there's really not much to say about it. Chipotle usually is just Chipotle. I do give some exceptions to some of the things they come out with. Their adobo ranch was cool, which I wish I got today. I also liked that chicken, the Chipotle honey chicken they had. That was also rocking. This, you're going to like it or you're not going to like it based off of whether you like Chipotle or not. It's not going to move the needle either way. The thing that's most shocking for me, and I don't know why I'm shocked by this because I know Chipotle is extremely popular, was how damn packed that restaurant was today. Like, this is the same Chipotle that I always go to. So, usually I go on weekdays and it's like after work hours where there's a decent crowd. I'm here today. Cilantro in my eye is a weird thing. Right now it is 3:30 on Saturday afternoon. And I just can't believe, like I walked in and I was in the line. As soon as I walked in, the line was wrapped around the side. And then people just continue to come in. But I'll give them credit. They do move the line fast here because of how they do like the quick service. As I'm sitting here eating Chipotle, and it's decent, I just don't get like why it's so packed all the time. I just don't see the hype to that point that people like come here every other day. Maybe it's just me. I understand. My opinion is not the law. I just don't understand it. Like, if I didn't have a new thing to get, I swear I would have just went to Wawa and got me like a bag of chips and called it. Like, it's good, but it ain't that damn good. Now, I'm fully aware that we live in a time where stating your opinion about something as irrelevant as food preferences can get you insulted to the umpteenth degree because I don't know what I'm talking about, because I don't necessarily think Chipotle is the best burrito chain. I honestly probably think it's third, but I'm still going to say it anyway. You want some other controversial opinions before I get out of here that are kind of harmless, but people will get angry at it because there's an old saying in my community that says a hit dog only hollers? I'll give you some. There's a Tesla thing over there. The charging station, it's right over here. I think most people who drive Teslas are usually just like incredibly rude or annoying. You can also put BMW in that category, at least in New Jersey. They're usually the people that cut you off when you're driving, or their car is their identity. It's probably going to annoy some people. Piggybacking off of my car opinion, if you're the type of person that revs your engine to drive down a residential area going 42 miles an hour in a 20 mile an hour neighborhood, you're compensating for something. Another one is, while I think the younger generation gets a lot of crap from people because they're different than the generations before them, they're just a product of their time. Having to grow up with information like the internet at your fingertips from a very young age was probably a little traumatic, and I don't think that we are as understanding as we should be. We were blissfully ignorant in the 90s and the people who grew up in the 80s and so on, because when stuff happened, we just turned off the TV and didn't have to deal with it. But everything that happens is in real time and on your phone, and I think their identity is based off of that. They're just a little more cynical because of it. And to be perfectly honest, I don't blame them because their childhood was nowhere near as innocent as ours. The next one is if you pride yourself on being a bully online to people, you're probably not a tough person in real life. I've just never met a tough person who will hide behind a computer screen and try to talk tough to somebody or say things that are disparaging or discouraging to someone just because they're allowed to have an opinion. There's more than likely an internal strife that you have with yourself that you're struggling with that makes you feel better by putting others down without any repercussions with it, because you know nothing can happen to you by talking crap behind an anonymous profile. It just makes you feel better to put people down, and you should probably seek help. I don't mean that rudely. I think you should probably talk to somebody about it, because you'll be a lot happier when you don't have to use other people's pain or hurt as a way to build yourself up. To piggyback off of that one, just because you are allowed to have an opinion does not give you discourse or free will to be a jerk to people online or in real life. Like, that says more about your character than theirs. I have plenty of opinions that I think would probably hurt more people's feelings on a non-surface level that I would never state towards an individual, because it wouldn't solve anything. So there's no reason to say it. You see, I grew up in an era, and most of us did, where the old adage goes, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Somewhere along the lines, our signals got crossed as a society, and the internet has made us more numb to the fact that there are other people on the side of that, where people will say incredibly rude things and say, well, I'm allowed to have an opinion, as that's a reason to say it. I just want to give you a real world scenario that I think would be applicable in this same exact thing. Could you imagine walking down the street and seeing somebody that you thought was unattractive or ugly and just being like, wow, you're ugly, because you thought they were ugly and you said it to their face because you were allowed to have an opinion? For some reason on the internet, it's okay to do that. And just chill, it's the internet is not really an excuse for that. I see too much of it. And I think people need to realize that human beings are human beings. And if they didn't do anything to you, there's no reason to hurt their feelings just because F your feelings is a feeling. Like, that makes no sense. And finally, for one weird opinion that people probably don't care about, but I have to say anyway, because I think this is just a fun little discourse, the majority of Jordans are ugly. Now, hear me out before I say that. How many Jordans have come out over the years, right? You have obviously the regular Jordans, which is like the Jordan 1 through like 15, etc. But then you also have like the team Jordans, and if you took all those shoes and lined them up and say there was 1,000 pair of them, 700 of them are actually ugly. Like, there's some nice ones. I like the 1s, the 4s, you can go to the 11s, the 12s, and so on. I'm forgetting some in between, but I'm just giving an example. But a lot of them actually really ugly, and I never wear them. I just had to say it. But anyway, this was fun. I'm glad you enjoyed my little nothing burger at the end of this video. And my car stinks like Chipotle, which someone said I should get a vacuum for the smells of a car. Can't do that. So that means I gotta wipe it down. But I appreciate y'all for watching, and we'll be back tomorrow. More content, man. The hand signs, they made it to YouTube.